420.
Happy
I got a torch and shit still.
How are you today, Daryl?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Ed?
I'm doing real good. I had to come into the cities to the VA hospital. I got my first round of the COVID shot in today. Everything went real well, real simple, and now I'm just standing out enjoying a nice slow spring rain here in Inver Grove Heights.
Oh, Inver Grove Heights, my old stomping grounds. I got my arm broke by a cop in Inver Grove Heights. Oh no.
Yeah, I bet you were smoking pot that day too, Daryl.
I was not.
I'm sure you were earlier that day, though, that morning.
I would have. Yep, I was probably earlier. I was just sitting down in the store to get my mom a pack of cigarettes and a 12-pack of Coke. I thought I was doing the right thing.
Well, sir, you know, they told me a little birdie told me that like you're one of those old school smokers of the old ganja weed, Daryl.
Oh yeah. When I got ganja, I smoke it as long as I got it.
Well, did you hear here in Minnesota we have an adult legalization bill going through the House and the Senate?
We do.
Yes, we do. They're trying to go ahead and legalize cannabis for adults to go ahead and smoke recreationally right here in the great state of Minnesota.
Well, what do you think we should do about that? I think there's a number of people we should tell about that. And
I think we should tell everybody about that.
Out of all the bills, which one is the best?
I think that we should tell the governor that. I think that we should tell Ryan Winkler that. He's the author of the bill in the House. I think we should tell Paul Gazelka. He's the majority senator, the Republican majority leader on the Senate side. We should tell lots of people. It's going to be heard in the Ed committee in the House tomorrow. I think that's Warren Limmer's committee. So we should let him know too, Daryl.
I think we should. And I thought you said it's going to be herd immunity. So I think what you meant was it's going to be heard in committee. So that what should we do about that? We should call our legislators and our representatives. We should tell them.
Absolutely. We need to go ahead and call them. If you look on our Wake and Bake page, we've been advertising the phone numbers for all of the members of the committee. We've been putting out there the number for the governor, for the majority leader in the Senate, Paul Gazelka, for Ryan Winkler's office. Again, folks, call and let these people know that you appreciate their support in the past and you hope for their support going forward.
Yes, absolutely. We do have a couple. In the next week or so, we will have a special guest on the show, and we'll be able to tell him or her what we think about this adult use, adult use cannabis use in Minnesota, and why we want that.
Why do we want that, Daryl?
I also have with me today Nikki Villavicencio from Maplewood.
Hey.
She's chiming in our show today. Maybe we can give them a little preview of our Earth Day Climate Week celebration thing. I see Greg's on if Greg wants to talk about it.
Well, I don't know that we have anything guaranteed yet, but we want to do a cleanup. On 420, I think was the goal, or is that what we were shooting for this morning? I literally kind of, where we ended the conversation was, our goal would be to go to Maplewood, work with the city and doing a cleanup at a couple parks with, I'd like to see 20, 25 people, maybe 50 people show up, guys. We can do this in the name of normal as a Wake and Bake show and the Chosen Family, going out to help the community in the name of marijuana. And then we finished the day after cleaning down at the Capitol to meet up with the rest of the organizations that are out there for the Tour 420 rally down there. And then we'll clean everything up for them too while we're at it.
That sounds like a great plan.
And I think Nikki and I would stay back and we'll stay back and we'll go live with from the Maplewood Mall, a secret location in the Maplewood Mall.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think people should only come to the Capitol that feel comfortable. I actually recommend that everybody does not pass a joint.
Right.
I just don't want to travel there 11 miles and then have to travel 11 miles back on the bus. That's my thing. Doesn't mean I wouldn't go there for a minute, but the mall's closer. I'm over there in 5 minutes.
We got to get somebody to give you a ride in the van. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, we got to get our van up and running. But I'm looking forward to the cleaning thing too. So if anybody wants to come join us, please, we'll try to make it fun as much as we can. And, if we like it, then we can do it again. There's no reason, we only have to do the one and done. But what I want to know is, out of all the cannabis bills that are up there, because I think it's kind of confusing for the average person or the everyday weed smoker to understand that, we all want to legalize marijuana, but there's all these different ways to do it. So what I want to know from the OGs here or the new Gs, OGs, new Gs, and everything in between, I want to know what your opinion is on what is the most important or most influential cannabis bill that's out there right now. Which one should we be focusing on the most?
What are the parts
Go.
that you want to focus on?
Raw cannabis, the only one that's going to possibly pass this year. And maybe a banking bill. And that's in my opinion. And maybe something is just, it's going to happen on the medical side this year. And that actually, I personally think, is a good thing. Because it's an acknowledgement that we've never gotten before.
I was trying to make it a little easier because there are several bills out there. And what she was looking for is like,
out of the current bills that are out there, though, which ones are the most, ones we should be pushing for or talking about, or?
I think we support all of them. I think what you'll get more out of if you ask them what parts of the bills do they want to keep and maintain. I think you'll hear a lot more diversified.
On a recreational side, or on a full legalization bill, or on what we might do in legislation this year?
I think
either side.
I think we do either side because that's how they're operating right now.
Right. I think you got to work on both personally, but I'm just trying to start the conversation.
Well, I think personally, if we would get full recreational, that would massively change our entire medical program into a different structure than it currently is.
Well, it does. If you look at it in law, it actually takes the medical cannabis, Office of Medical Cannabis, and it folds them into another department.
Correct.
And it basically,
I really would like to see personally in a bill. This is being touted as a social justice bill, but they're really not. It's semi-social justice. If this was social justice, they would not be holding people out of the industry. 100% to tell you what you did 10 years ago has any effect on how well you can run a business seems strange to me.
well,
That does come up a little strange.
It's obviously not an open market.
Well, and they're just using buzzwords. It has to do with tying things to the federal government and the buzzwords that people like to talk about. Is it really equitable? No, obviously not. Will it be? I hope it's better as we go.
It's tough for me to sit there. They do the same thing in the alcohol industry as well.
Sure.
And other industries, I'm sure tobacco probably will tell me. I'm just not as in tune with those prohibitions that they have still. But they've got a whole lot less prohibitions than we do. But no, to tell an industry, I get if you're a violent criminal dealing with vulnerable people. That is something I can understand. Other than that, I don't get it. I don't get who gets to determine on your background about a license.
Here, so put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 100% for keeping violent criminals away from,
I'm
vulnerable
100% behind putting it in your pipe and smoking it.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Good.
It's a free country.
Put it in an apple, put it in a can, whatever you got.
Ooh. Just
You know,
don't let your daughter have
Bill, you said it. You nailed it right on the head. It's a free country.
We can
Well, I'll
smoke
tell you,
cigarettes.
calm down. Contact the governor's office, folks. I'm telling you, go ahead and contact Governor Tim Walz' office and tell him that you support 100% the bills in our legislature, and you'd love to see him actually put money in his budget instead of just lip service, folks. Let's get the governor to actually put some dollar amounts out there in his budget. Let's get some action, folks. Call the governor.
You know what I'm gonna do? I might, if we stay on long enough, I might decide to call a member of the committee and just and leave a message for them. We can do a live call. Chill, how easy it is.
I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
I mean, who else should we contact, Daryl?
Ed, I think it's a great idea to tell them that we support legalization in this state, and they need to attach it to a budget to force legislation to have the conversation. Let them figure out what happens when we appropriate money to something.
Okay, so the Ag and Finance and Policy Committee meets tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The chair of that committee is Mike Sundell, and the vice chair is Samantha Vang. So I'm gonna just call Samantha Vang right now. She's the vice chair, and we're gonna see what we get. If we get a voicemail, we can leave a message. Her number is, so if anybody else wants to call me with her, they can, or after me, you can call her at 651-296-3709. Again, that is Samantha Vang. Representative Vang. She is the vice chair, and she represents District 40B in the House of Representatives.
And does anybody have a quick reference to where 40B is to let his constituents know what direct area? Because not everybody knows their number sequence.
I'm gonna click right here and find out where the. I'm not able to click because I'm trying to dial their phone number, but so if you can pull up where it is, I'll keep trying to dial the phone number.
Hey, Jody. Hey, Kenita. Yeah, I just, everybody, if you have an opportunity, pick up the phone or pull it out of your pocket because you're not taking it off a wall anymore. Dial it. Simple. If you don't know the number, you can Google her. We got the technology. It's just a Google away. Or Bing if you're a Microsoft person. But yeah, it's simple. They work for us. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. They know we're out here.
So I'm receiving your voicemail right now, and I'm going to leave a message for her.
All right, here we go.
Representative Vang, this is Daryl Paulson. I'm a member of Minnesota Normal and the Wake and Bake Show here in Minnesota. We're calling you on behalf of the adult use bill, House File 600. And I would call in there and urge your support for this bill and this legislation to pass. And we would also love to have your comments and your thoughts on the adult legalization use. And we'd love to have you on the show sometime. Give me a call back here at 651-387-8354. That again is my cell phone, 651-387-8354. Thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. It's that easy, folks. Just give them a call, and they will call you back, or their staff does call you back. I get calls sometimes during the day, sometimes at night. And if you don't like to make phone calls, they like emails too, and they like texts. A lot of them do a lot of texting.
Or tweeting, you can tweet them. If you like to use Twitter.
They also take a lot of respect in a handwritten letter, folks.
There you go. I like that.
Yep.
There is nothing more powerful than somebody taking the time to sit down and put pen to paper and put their thoughts on it.
Yep.
In today's world, the
Cinnamon
thought that goes into that is well appreciated.
Yep. Well, I mean, activism comes in big and small. Small is too. I mean, we do. Just us talking about this and gathering about this every day at 420 is. I mean, that's a step in itself. I mean, tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your neighbors. And be safe about it if you have to be. I mean, don't be like me carrying pot into a courthouse multiple times a day, and then going up to the clerk, asking the clerk for to help me out and help me get my passport. And as I'm getting that information, my family members looking down, and I do have a little bit of weed hanging from my wheelchair, and they're like trying to signal to me like, "Hey, Daryl, put that away before somebody says anything." And I'm just irritated because I'm telling them, "Hey, I gotta leave out of the country in a couple weeks, whatever." And they're like, "Well, it's not here. I don't think it's gonna come in time." And I'm like, "Well, it better come in time. I just spent all this money, And everybody's like, "Be quiet, they're gonna know that you got weed hanging from your wheelchair." And I'm like, "Whoops, I forgot about that." So I don't encourage everybody to do civil disobedience like I do, but I mean, if you ever want to learn how to do it safely, I can teach you that too. But in the meantime, what do we want to do to get up? We want to call our legislators, right? I bet you he's picking up his car.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so it is Tuesday, the 22nd, right? Or the 23rd. It's the 23rd.
Hey, Daryl or Ed, has anybody heard, has North Dakota advanced their bill any further through legislation?
I have not looked at that lately. I should have been following that. I got caught up with following some things in what is it? New Mexico, and then there's a couple.
Yeah, New Mexico too. There's a few.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
Oklahoma's running through actually pretty quickly.
Yeah. Nick is trying to sneak out on us so we can say goodbye to her as she leaves us.
Have a good evening, Nikki.
I thought you were gonna do some 420. You missed out.
What do you mean? I'm gonna do some 420. Where is it?
Ow, my foot.
I don't have. Where's the? I don't even know where the pipe is. Yeah. You want to come say hi to the white people or what?
Nope, we're going this way.
Okay. So anyway, some of the other things that I would like to. Right. Some of the other things in the news that I seen this week were, remember, Representative Schumer had introduced a, was it a full legalization bill on the House? Am I right on that? Am I right on that? Sorry about that. Let me pull some things up real quick. I should have been a little bit more prepared for this. There we go. Okay, so
Hey guys, what's up?
hey, Camille, I'm
You do?
I'm just pulling up some things on my other
I'm just waiting for my husband to get home with our new camper. I'm kind of excited.
well, that's good. I'm glad about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I just see an article here from GOP congressman condemns marijuana-related White House firings in a letter to Biden. So, Republicans, congressmen, had sent a letter calling for President Joe Biden to direct his administration to stop the White House firings for marijuana prior use. Instead, to rehire those people and ask them to resign slowly on being honest about their history about cannabis.
On the shelf, I said.
Which I think is kind of weird, but meanwhile, Representative David Joyce of Ohio says he's part of the Congressional Cannabis Caucus, pointed out in a new letter that numerous states have moved to legalize marijuana in some form, overturning decades of long policy and both archaic, discriminatory nation. He added, why used correctly and responsibly, cannabis has many proven health benefits. And then he goes on to talk about, his issue, the opiate crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic. that's an interesting take on that. What I see from that is, I see the Republicans either aligning themselves with a future hard election that they'll have to fight, or I see them really trying to recognize that cannabis legalization is inevitable, and they're not able to stop it. How close is that camper now, Camille?
I don't know. He's got to call me and let me know when he's on his way. He's going through the tutorial, the walkthrough. But we're getting close.
Kansas also is they inched a little closer to medical marijuana use. They voted to win heavily on the higher arguments, it says. So all these articles can be seen at Marijuana Moment, or some of the other information that we talked about last week could also be seen at normal.org or Minnesota MidNormal. Well, Camille, do you want to play a game with me?
What's that?
Yeah, if I say a word, what's the first thing that pops in your mind? Okay, you ready? You ready to play? You want to go first?
Okay, let's shoot. Let's do this.
Okay, you want me to go first?
You can go first, yeah.
We're playing a game. I missed it.
Ed wants to play.
We're gonna play a game. If I say a word, what pops in your mind? Okay. Okay, I'm not very good at this. I just decided to do this on the top of my head. So if I say yellow, what pops in your head?
My yarn ball that I'm sitting by. Oh, you can't see it. Here. Look at the yarn ball.
Cool.
I'll get up and look at it.
Ice over there. That's ice.
Yellow yarn ball.
Okay, now I can see it.
Yeah, I'll chill by it.
I'm mad, man. Because I just thought you were outside and you're inside, right?
Yep, that's like a whole ball of yarn in a ball.
Okay, well, yellow, that was a good one. Okay, well, if I said the word, if I say the word, legalized, what do you think about?
Cannabis.
Okay, if I say the word,
Ed, what do you think? What do you think about?
I want legalization and prohibition. 100% legalization.
Yes. End prohibition. That's what legalized means.
okay,
That's right.
okay. What if I say the word, regulation? Or toleration?
I guess it's different for everybody because I choose not to drink. So
Right. And I don't drink that much either, so.
And I'm not here to judge you on how much you drink either.
I don't drink very much
Right.
anyway, but if I drink, then I gotta go pee a lot, so I don't drink a lot.
I believe marijuana is safer, and I believe that it should not be regulated any worse or any differently, any
Right.
more restrictive, I should say, than alcohol. That's for sure. Cannabis is safer than alcohol.
Absolutely. I think we should have cannabis parties, like they have bingo parties. We should have cannabis parties.
I got a word.
What?
Freeze.
Jeez. I think of them as I mean,
Budding. The
cherry-
trees are budding, and buds are one of my favorites. I like buds.
Can you imagine what the trees would look like if we would have let cannabis grow and it would have, like, you know, come back every year?
That'd be fantastic.
We'd have some big trees.
Yeah.
I will tell you when I went and looked at the leaf line operation in Cottage Grove, and I
Yeah.
seen the plants hanging from like what was it, like a 20-foot ceiling, and just seeing them hanging there to dry. That was pretty amazing. I've never seen anything like that. It was like,
Well, tell us more about that, Daryl, because like not everybody's had the opportunity to actually visit a grow operation in the state of Minnesota.
but it is pretty unique in the way that they do it. They did a lot. They did make everybody suit up for contaminants reasons. I was the only one that they didn't ID because they obviously knew who I was or something. But everybody else got ID'd by their retro scan or their eye scan, which I thought was interesting.
Okay.
That they use that technology, and then they scrubbed down my wheelchair because they thought it would have a lot of contaminants. So it took me a little longer to get processed and get ready to get through. But what they showed you is they showed you a series of rooms from different stages of plants, from the seeds to the actual buds to the actual production of the oil, all the way through. And they still had about 40% of their space was still available to be used for future production. So they had enough space to grow.
Expansion.
And it was pretty amazing when you
So,
see,
Daryl,
go ahead.
do they give tours to anybody, or do you have to be special?
At that time they were limiting the tours. I think they do give them a little bit more frequently now because of COVID. I don't know how frequent it is, but I mean, I think they would give tours. I mean, as long as you're not, you know, as long as you act appropriate and follow their protocol. I mean, you know.
I've seen other people that have gotten tours too. I just never really asked before. But it sounds like we maybe make a field trip.
Yeah, that would be fun. It would be. I mean, they probably won't let us film a lot, but we could do a film trip. A film trip going there, and we could report back on it. I would be willing to call. I would be willing to call and find out to see if we can even do something like that.
I'd be interested.
Right. Yeah, and it's really cool. I mean, they're actually that space is it used to be a soybean field. So when you actually open their front door, you can smell the production right from the parking lot. I mean, it's pretty amazing when Metro Mobility dropped me off the driveway. He was like, "Is that really weed in there? It smells like weed there." I'm like, "Yeah, there's weed there. There's probably over $1 million worth of weed in here, probably."
Legal.
Oh yeah.
I heard it's not the highest quality, but they're getting better.
It isn't, and that's the thing that I've talked about with other advocates and other people that are in the industry or wanting to get in the industry. They thought that might be because the state says that they can ramp up flour by August, but in order to do that, they would have to greatly care about their plants, you know, within the last 3 months or whatever, and they don't do a very good job of that, is what I heard. But I'm not a scientist either, so.
You're not.
Not today. I'm a pot smoker, and that's what my trade is.
They've done a lot of experimenting.
Yeah, we're still not done with the testing phase.
Well, there's great changes coming in the medical program. There's bills on the table right now in the House and the Senate to modify our program here in the great state of Minnesota. Dale, did you hear that?
I did hear that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I've heard that they're trying to go ahead and make it so that if you're serving probation or you know in some kind of correctional setting, that they have to take consideration for your medication. I've also heard that they're trying to go ahead and modify it so that they can allow the raw flour. And that goes back to what we were just talking about the quality that they grow right now. But what people might not understand is what they're growing right now is to go ahead and use for extract. So it's not, they don't need quality bud. They don't need high quality appearing bud. They need the plant to have the oils, the chemicals that they can extract.
Right. Absolutely. And so what I heard as well is I heard also the oil, a lot of times pure oil, pure cannabis THC oil is strong, or it also has some side effects that patients or users have to deal with. I heard that you pairing it with raw flour or cannabis flour helps combat some of those things, and actually it complements each other. And I think that's why you see such a push to add flour to the medical cannabis program here in Minnesota.
Absolutely. It's two, you know, both the adult use recreational and the medical program changes. You know, one goes along with the other. Now, we can definitely go with the medical program changes without the legalization. But the thing is if the legalization goes forward, there's definitely going to have to be changes to the medical program to be in alignment with that. And so, you know, we want people to go ahead and reach out to their Minnesota Congress people, the senators and the House members, and let them know how you come down on the side of the medical cannabis program modifications. That's HF 1413, and the companion bill in the Senate is 1179. And I know that they're making progress. Right now, the medical program is working. It's been around for quite a few years, but the costs are always one of the first things I hear current and past Minnesota cannabis patients complain about is the cost. It's just overwhelmingly expensive, I heard.
Yeah, that is true. The number one factor that you hear from patients is the cost. But then what we're also hearing now is the lack of diversified products or delivery method. You know, in some states that you can get gummies and you can get other products with CBD and THC ratio and a mixture. In Minnesota, we're kind of limited to that and what we allow those manufacturers to come up with. We only have two main players here in Minnesota, and one is Green Goods, an international company, and one is Leafline Labs, and they're not a national company, but they both have similar products, but are very limited. Cost is outrageous.
Well, I did hear that if the raw cannabis part of the program gets actually through, they're projected to go ahead and actually bring the cost down. And they also project that they will bring a lot more people actually into the program when that happens. And so I think it's going to be good for Minnesota. I think it's going to be good for the patients of Minnesota.
I hope so, and I mean, I believe that if that brings the cost down, that means my oil, what I use, on throughout the week, when I'm working and I'm out in public, that should be significantly lower, and then I could use the high quality bud, at bedtime or in the morning time if I needed that extra punch, so to speak. But
absolutely. So we have to go ahead and, I mean, Daryl, if it was up to you and I know that we would already have the cannabis program already modified. I know that cannabis would probably even be prohibited if it was up to you and me, but it's not. So we need to contact our legislators, folks. We need to contact Paul Gazelka, and we need to contact Ryan Winkler. Ryan Winkler's the author of HF 600, the adult use cannabis bill, but he's also the majority leader in the House. And he's going to go ahead and be able to keep the movement on the medical modifications in the House side. So please give him a call. Tell him we support him. Tell him we're all for the changes. Tell him we want adult legalization. And then on the other side, we got Paul Gazelka. Now, he's been opposed to things. However, we do have the medical program still. So please, call him and tell him you support these changes, folks. Call him and tell him you support the changes to the medical program to go ahead and allow people that are in the Department of Corrections stream availability of their medicine. Go ahead and give Paul Gazelka a call and let him know that you support the raw cannabis changes to the medical program.
absolutely, Paul Gazelka. I call him about once a week. I'm hoping that you guys are calling him as well, so he hears from us all the time.
Hopefully he hears from enough of us that he's sort of like all of a sudden listening to us, maybe.
Yes, I mean, I'm hoping he hears from us enough that maybe he'll understand either to come along to our side or to at least give us a hearing and allow his other colleagues to weigh in on the issue as well. That's the fair thing to do.
Well, yeah, we owe our legislators a big round of applause for the progress that has been made this year. But folks, if we take our foot off the accelerator, they're going to go ahead and let this go back burner again. We need to keep the heat underneath their seats, as we can say. Huh, Daryl?
Oh yeah. If if you don't keep their heat on, they'll go on to another issue. They'll go on to another subject, another concern. I mean, so if you want weed legalized in Minnesota, you know, it's not enough just talking to your family and friends or just sitting around smoking a bowl on 420. It's time to let your voice be heard and to call. Who do you want to call, Ed?
We want to call the majority leader, Paul Gazelka, on the Senate side. We want to contact the majority leader, Ryan Winkler, on the House side. And then, once again, let's say it. We say, if you want to go from the top down, please, please, please give the governor's office a call. Let him know that you support him and that you appreciate his support of the medical cannabis program in Minnesota. Also, let him know that you'd really appreciate it if he put the money behind his words about, you know, really wanting, you know, cannabis in Minnesota to go forward. So go ahead, give the governor a call, Tim Walz. His number's right there on the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and give the majority leader, Paul Gazelka, on the Senate side. Give him a call, folks. His number's on the bottom of the screen there. Let him know that you'd like to see the medical cannabis program changes go through. You let him know that you also support the legalization of cannabis for adult leaders, adults, legalization for adult cannabis users, yes. And Ryan Winkler, folks, he wrote the bill, the HF 600. I should say he's the chief author on the bill. And he brought it forward, and it's making great progress. So please, folks, get a hold of these leaders. There's a committee meeting tomorrow. Watch this space.
I do see what you mean now, though, Ed. When I'm looking on Facebook, I'm a sideways guy. That might have to be my new nickname. Sideways.
Sideways. There you are.
Well,
I think we should wrap it up for the day. We got lots to go for. We got to get ready for that committee meeting tomorrow. We got the adult cannabis bill going in front of the Ag Committee tomorrow. And there's going to be some testimony from some collaborators. We got to keep this moving, folks. So please give your legislature, your members a call. Please give the governor's office a call.
You bet, Ed. And I do apologize. There was a dead spot there for a little bit because I got a little sidetracked in what I was looking at. But I do promise that we'll have a better report and a better flowage going forward. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everybody that was listening to us and jumping on, and thanking those that are going to listen to us in the future. Come on and join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:20 or even earlier. Ed, are you guys
That's right.
We're on in the morning, right, Ed?
That's correct. We sure are. We get a group together every morning. Some mornings we go live, some mornings we don't. But we're out there, folks, because we're just your regular mom and pops and sons and daughters, grandpas and grandmas, aunts and uncles. We're just everyday folks, and we do the wake and bake.
Yeah, absolutely. 4:20 all the time, guys. April.
Alrighty.
All right, thank you, Ed. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, have a great